thanks for being here on Between Three Rivers.
Hey, thanks for having me. Since you guys first asked me about it, I was like pretty pumped and excited to do it. So
I know you got your own podcast, so I've always wanted to maybe pop in on yours for a little bit too. Okay.
Yeah.
What is that called again? Are you obliged to say?
I mean, it's a podcast about, the whole premise was to like make fun of like Instagram dads.
Nice.
It's just like people that kind of like take it too seriously, which some people are like, you can't take parenting too seriously. It's like, yeah, but like you can.
Right.
And so the whole idea was like to make fun of that. And that's kind of how it all started. But we don't record that often. I think we have like 3 episodes in the last like 12 months, maybe.
It's called These Dads Suck. Don't look it up.
Yeah, don't. It's not worth it.
I do like watching the videos you guys make, though. Those are good.
Yeah.
Some of them got some views. You guys.
Yeah, mostly because of Jake's edits.
Yeah.
Yeah, less of content, more of the edits there. Yeah. So.
Well, we have Shane Araujo here, and he's the president of 3BG, the co-founder.
Yeah.
Founder.
Yeah.
3BG here in Fort Wayne, and super awesome office. I've been there, and it's on the landing. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so we sell products and solutions that go into big foundries and food manufacturers and a lot of manufacturing, rock quarries, those types of things. It's basically it's tucked inside of a pretty large market called industrial MRO, which stands for maintenance, repair, and operations. And so we're kind of basically like a little bit of a subset of that, where we started, which was power transmission components. So that's your bearings, your motors, your gearboxes. And over the years, we've obviously started to take on different verticals. And now we're heavily into the service side too. So not only can we sell you the parts to fix the issue, we can also service those products and those issues too.
Yeah, I feel like, we're in Sweetwater here. It sells instruments and parts and all that stuff. It's kind of like a little bit of that, but like on the industrial level.
Yeah, I mean, when we first started the business, we actually did a cold reach out to Chuck to ask him to be like a mentor for me, and he did, which was
that's cool.
Yeah, one of the many bad decisions Chuck's probably had in his life. No, so like we really built a lot of what we did at the time around a lot of the principles and philosophies that Sweetwater was built on, actually. So it's always fun to come back here, and we used to have like a full run at this place. You just have to shoot a message like, hey, we want to meet with so and learn more about this thing, and Chuck just opened up the doors for us, which was really cool in the early years. So
yeah. I feel like he's still like we were talking, Jason and I were talking. It's like if you call him or if you want to reach out to him, he'll listen, and it's pretty amazing. I mean, how busy he is. He's still like wants to be involved, and I think he just wants the community to grow. Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the greatest people on the planet and one of the greatest listeners ever.
Yeah.
So
we always
big
start.
Shout out to Chuck.
Yeah, big shout out to we always start our podcast with a little bit of topic, and then everything. And by the way, we have Jake Tomlinson here, our producer. Dan Copeland can't be here today, so we
brought in the JV team here, really. Brought in the B squad.
What?
Yeah, so the question was, what does 3BG stand for? 3 what guys?
3 bald guys originally, but we don't really care about that anymore. Right.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah.
That was a joke.
Is that what
why don't you leave the comedy to us, Jake?
Well, I want to take the time to say that Jake and Shane work together. So there is that as well. I wanted to bring that up. So they know each other.
Yeah, very well. Yeah. Yeah. Jake started working for us years ago, a couple of years ago. I don't even know anymore. Got to know Jake that way.
Intern Jake? Always intern Jake now, right?
To me, he's just Jake. There are a lot of people out there that just save him in their phone as intern Jake.
Or just intern.
I've seen
I saw that and I was like, whoa.
Nice. Wow. Don't even know my name.
Yeah, forever intern. It's like, all right.
I think it's kind of like the same way too, like that, like, does Billy Corshit eventually just become Bill?
Right.
Or just B? Someone could call you that as well.
Someone calls him B.
And you know what's
that would be nuts.
You know what's crazy is like, I just skipped the whole William. Like it never was William.
I don't think that William was ever on the table at all. That was never on the table.
Well, so our intro topic today is because I saw Joe Rogan's post and it's about the public land hearing. And so I guess Trump was coming up with his, budget and all that. And I'll do my best impressions. His big, beautiful bill.
Big, beautiful bill.
Well, anyway, so I guess something that was erased and I thought it was kind of cool is there was like hundreds of thousands of acres that were just going to be sold. And it could have been to China, could have been to anybody. Mm-hmm. And there was no regulations and it was just public and they were just going to auction it off. And I think Utah was like, no, we can't do this. Like, that's like nice land. There's animals out there, things like that. And so they actually X'd it out of the bill, which I thought was pretty neat so that that land is free. It's going to stay open to the state.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah. I grew up in like a hunting family. And so the ability to have that access to public land just from a hunting perspective alone, I think is super important. So I'm glad to hear.
Yeah. And Joe Rogan was like, it's just nice because now you can go out there, breathe it in, and enjoy it still. Because that's one thing that we've got to keep in the U.S. is like open land and just go out, enjoy it. I was in Colorado, felt so good to just be remote.
Yeah. Well, and it can ruin. It does like kind of like it's definitely an aesthetic thing, but like Southeast Ohio, kind of the foothills of Appalachian Mountains are like a really cool area, and we have a lot of customers down there that are in the oil business. And you'll be driving in like such beautiful scenic drive. You're like, man, this is sweet. This is cool. I didn't even know this was down here. And then all of a sudden you just see like an 8-foot steel pipe that just runs through somebody's wooded, acreage. And you're like, oh,
you're like, dang it.
Yeah, that sucks kind of. But, I'm always torn between like progress,
development,
like corporate progress and that, because I also think like, you should do the business that you want to do, but also like, don't be a jerk.
Right.
Too. But, it's just tough. It's just such a constant battle between the two.
Yep.
It's brutal.
Well, that's, I just wanted to bring that up because I thought that was kind of cool. And
I know that I forget the name of the organization. There's an organization that, there's a thing called like ghost towns. Have you ever?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's it happens a lot. So like I think about in Indiana, there's like a ghost town where, at one point there was a large company there that made parts that went to GM or Ford or somebody, right? And then
You're talking about Muncie, Indiana? Oh,
yeah. Muncie's a thriving metropolis now.
Because of the school. Once all the kids leave, it's like, ooh.
And I was definitely being sarcastic. That place does kind of suck. So these ghost towns will happen is, these grandparents had their kids moved to Indianapolis or Fort Wayne or Chicago, Detroit, Cincinnati, all these cities. And then just over time, there's just like no one lives there anymore. And it happens a lot out west. And there's an organization, I wish I could remember the name of it, that comes in and will like buy the land and then just make it public land moving forward. And then I know that they had a great logo where it shows like a real picture of this like huge elk, and it's up on top of this roof of this house, which it's only been a couple years since no one lived in it, but just like the ground and everything just started to slowly consume this home back into nature.
Whoa.
And you can see this elk standing on the top of this like 3-bedroom, 2-bath, ranch home. And I was like, yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah.
Like start to like let it become Earths again.
Wow.
Which I'm coming off like a weird
that was
hippie guy right now.
No, that was interesting. Like,
not me,
who knew that was going to go there? Like, that was great.
Yeah, it's
that's
a
why
cool
I love
thing. I think
our
that
intro
photo
topics.
means a lot of stuff. Yeah. I had no idea what we were going to talk about. I'm like, all right, sweet.
So I know Shane as a lot of different things, but one is a great businessman and
Still waiting to see.
Wait.
Yeah, it's still possible that I'm not.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
but also more importantly, your family man.
Yes. For sure.
Loves his family.
I definitely suck at that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, we're all here for progress, right? You
Yeah,
know?
progress.
Yeah.
These dads suck. Don't look it up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just wanted to like bring that up because how do you manage that? Like everyone's answer is different, but work-life balance. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. I don't know. I think a lot of it starts with like your kind of philosophy and like what your goals are as a parent, you know? I was raised by an old man, right? So I feel like I do have the tendencies of someone that, you know, was born in a different generation. So part of me feels like, and this is what works for us. It might not work for anybody else or the next person sitting next to me or whatever, but I think that there's a philosophy that I have where it's like, in our household, my wife does a great job, like being the CEO of the household, right? And that's what she does. She does a phenomenal job doing that. And it was hard for her to make that decision too. You know, she had been a hairstylist since she was like 18 years old. And so like letting go of some of those friendships and those connections that she had, it took a lot for us to get there. She does a phenomenal job doing that. I feel like my job is to like make it so that her life is as easy as possible and to obviously like make sure that my job is to help her feel comfortable in that process. And eventually, hopefully I can help her get to heaven too, if that's possible. So like, those are like kind of how I think through it. And so for me, like I probably am not as balanced as some people would think you should be as a dad. I definitely work. I definitely like work more than I do parent. Do I wish I had more time with the kids and stuff? Yeah, all the time. I would love that. But also like I have a responsibility to make sure that the food's on the table and that things are moving, you know, well, and make sure that my wife's car doesn't get declined when she's at the grocery store, right? And so to me, the work-life balance is probably just a lot heavier on the work versus like being home with the family and stuff like that. But that's also just okay for us right now.
Yeah.
You know, and just what it is. Now, some people will just be like, no, you know, 3:00, that hand strikes 3, I'm dad. There's nothing stop, you know, and it's like, I love that too. I think that's great for people. It just doesn't work for us because for what we're doing, I am responsible for too much and too many people and too many things that it's not really possible. Also, I also enjoy that responsibility, right? And it feels right for now. So
Right. And
that's how I kinda do it.
things could change. And
Yeah, things
like,
could change,
you know,
and yeah, for
but
sure.
also like one day may be different than another day.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's also there's a lot of times too where it's like, you know, maybe I did work from like Monday till Thursday nonstop, but then I'm also like with the kids maybe all day Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and
Going to sports.
yeah, doing all this stuff and hanging out. So like, I feel we make it work. But I think it all is very, you know, much based on the individual and what their goals are and their philosophies are in life and how they want things to work too. So
I mean, you both have joined we've joined each other with the like Fit Dad community that we've
love
done.
that.
And that's what it's about. It's like, how do we learn from each other to balance this dad life? Because it's tough, man.
yeah, we were talking about this before a little bit. I think what I love about the Fit Dad community so much is that it's really easy to fall into like what I call like the dad zombie thing, where it's like you kind of lost a little bit of who you are and why it is you do the things you do, and you just end up like pouring all into the kids and the kids only, and you kind of like lose yourself a little bit. And what I like to see from the Fit Dad group is there's some guys that are like, hey, listen, my wife isn't as cool with me going to play golf a couple times a week. My wife isn't cool with me working 60 hours a week. This is a time that I'm allowed to get out and see the guys and joke around and bust balls a little bit. And it's like, perfect. Well, we're here for you.
Yeah.
You know, I love that.
Yeah. And that reminded me of like when you're saying like the monotony thing. It's like, I remember that Adam Sandler movie when he like put himself on autopilot through the whole movie. And he's like, click.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, like, he's like an old man. He's like, what happened?
He's like, what did I do?
What did I do? And so it just like, It does. It gets you out like of even just talking right now, you know, or going to get coffee with somebody, having a beer.
Mm-hmm.
You get out of that for a second, and then you're like, oh, I realized that what I need to be doing.
Well, you got to remember too, you can't pour from an empty cup. You got to like pour from like a level of abundance too.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you're running on fumes, either spiritually or mentally or physically or whatever, it's going to be, how are you supposed to be giving your kids and your family all that you can if you're pouring from an empty cup? So like to me, I think that's kind of going back to that balance from the original question too. It's like, I have a big cup, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, I keep my plate full so that I can keep my cup full type of thing, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
And so it's you get to this point too where it's you get to this level where all you've done is like lived for them, for the kids or the family or whatever, and then you just forget who you are. And then I get so sad when I see that. So that the Fit Dad was a big thing for me. Another thing that I've been doing too lately to fill up my cup too, when I'm not working with 3BG, lately we've been doing a lot of work towards the Saints Gridiron Foundation, which Bill and I are on the board for together. And somebody asked me the other day, I was on a podcast, and they're like, "Oh, you seem really efficient. Do you analyze where all of the funds are coming from for yourself personally, and then identify, you know, what's feeding you the best and kind of take action?" And I was like, no, actually.
That seems like a lot.
I was like, actually, right now I'm putting the most time besides 3BG into the stupid Saints Gridiron Foundation, which is essentially a football booster for our alma mater. And they're like, oh. And I was like, yeah. They're like, do you get paid to do that? I was like, definitely not. In fact, definitely have lost money doing that.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh. Okay, they're like looking for this like really cool like business answer. It's like, no, but honestly, it's also filling up my cup the most right now. It's like I'm having so much fun. We just built the website. We have all the socials getting ready to launch. We have a couple events that we were taking on. Bill is nice enough to help spearhead one of the big events coming up with Kevin Burns, one of our other board members. So it's like, man, this has been so much fun, and being able to fill my own cup, you know, that's been a big thing for me.
Yeah, and I like to think about it too. Is like, I think I was reading something you said this in too. You want to stay busy, because that, I don't know. For me, staying busy, I'm happier.
Yeah. Well, I heard my buddy. I just stole a quote. Kelly Lynch, who, if you haven't had him on, is great. I think he's the executive director of the historic train. I just screwed it up. Kelly's gonna kill me.
Yeah, for Fort Wayne Railroad.
Fort Wayne Railroad. There we go. And he was over the house the other night, and he's like, "Yeah, he's like, I fill my plate to fill my cup." And I was like, "Dude, first of all, he always has like the best like one-liners.
Yeah.
He's just so smart and brilliant kid." And when he said that, I was like, "Dude, I'm gonna steal that so bad."
Yeah,
but it's true.
It's a full dinner. You got your cup full, your plate full.
Yeah, and it's like when he said that, though, it hit me. I was like, "Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I really like that." But going back to it, it's like, yeah, it's tough to, and I see it with the Fit Dads, because I was like, I was talking to one of them. I wish I could remember his name. He said, "Yeah, this is the only time my wife's gonna let me get out." And it's like, oh, that's awful. You know, you feel bad for the guy too, but also like, well, hell, you're here, so let's have a good time.
Yeah, that's right.
Watch a fat guy pull a hamstring.
Oh man, hilarious. I felt so bad for you when you pulled that.
Just fine. 2 days later, I was fine.
All right, good.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what,
But also, don't put cones on turf.
Right.
Once I saw the cones on the turf, it like took me back, and I was like, oh, I'm in the, like, am I in the NFL now?
Yeah.
We won the first race.
Dude, I was smoking.
Oh man, I sent it to some prospects. They were like, "Who's this guy?"
Yeah, they're like, we need to get him down.
Was it the Colts?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
the Colts could use me, to be honest with you.
They said that his the gray beard threw him off. They're like, I don't know, how old is he?
Yeah, how old is he? He looks 53. Like he's 38 actually. It's like, dang.
Okay, so I know too. You lean a lot on your faith. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, a lot of people don't talk about it. Like,
yeah, I don't talk about it enough, probably.
But like, you have some really great like Bible verses that you've brought up and different things. Which one's your favorite right now?
Oh shoot. There's one I've been talking about a lot lately for some reason, which is it's not even like the passage itself, but it's of course I could forget it. I think it's Maccabees. So it's an Old Testament thing. But there's a story of the silversmith and the refiner. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Okay, so we at 3BG, a lot of what we focus on is based in three things. We call it behavior, attitude, and technique. And I can't remember where we stole that from. It might have been like an old Sandler thing or something. But my sales manager, quasi like VP of sales type of person, he really owns the behaviors. Then we have somebody and a few supporting team members that really focus on everyone's techniques, regardless of where you're at in the company. And over the years, it's finally become really evident that like out of the BAT, behavior, attitude, technique, I kind of own the attitude thing. And so one thing that you always got to remember is like energy flows where clarity goes. Mm-hmm. So like once I had the clarity that was kind of my responsibility, one of the things I noticed was like some of our staff had just so much potential and they were just such amazing people and they had great work ethic, and you'd still wonder like why aren't they always hitting their goals? You know, some of them, small group of them. And when I looked at it, it's like, you know what I think it is? I think they just don't know that they're capable of doing some really cool shit. Oh, am I allowed to say that?
Absolutely.
There? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And so, okay, good. Because don't give me an inch, Bill.
Yeah.
I will take mine. No. So that kind of helped me really start to gauge like what I wanted to talk about. And so I was thinking about that, kind of looking through numbers and talking. We do these skip level meetings where I actually meet with account executives still like once a month, sometimes twice a month, depending. And then I opened up my favorite sales book, my favorite leadership book.
What's that?
The old Bible in the morning.
Oh, there it is.
And it led me to this thing. And then I Googled it, and there was like a whole, just like a whole story about it, which is God says at some point, maybe it's Maccabees 3:3. He says, I am the silversmith. I'm the refiner of silver. So then I Google this. I'm like, what does that mean? And there's actually there's a story about it where these group of women are reading from Old Testament and they see this, they read this thing. They're like, what does that mean? So they go and sit with the silversmith. And they don't tell the silversmith while they're there, but they're like, hey, we want to watch you work one day. So they're watching him work. And they see him like standing over the fire as he holds the piece of silver, like in the very middle of it. And they said, wow, you are standing pretty close to that thing, you know? And he said, yeah, well, you have to stand close enough to watch it. And they said, and you hold it in there for a long time, standing over that fire. And they said, well, how do you know when to take it out? And the silversmith says, I take the silver out when I can see myself in it. I was like, dang, son.
Yeah. Wow.
And I was like, there's so many things you can get from that. But what I loved about that was all of these, especially our sales staff, not all of them, a large portion of them are, and people listening, like hook into this a little bit. A lot of people gauge their identity and how good or how much self-worth they have or whatever based on the outcomes of the things that they do. The problem with that is your goals today, Bill, are a lot different than they were when you were 23 years old. Right. So the problem is if you hook into that, that's where things become, you put yourself in these situations where you're like, I'm having trouble being happy. I'm having trouble finding purpose, all these things. And that's because your identity is attached to like some outcome that was created for who knows what. But really, confidence is built while you're in the fire. You know what I'm saying?
Dang, I'm with you, man.
And I was like, so I was like, man, I cannot wait. Like, you know, like the way that I built out this 6-week series was like a self-belief 6-week series that I did with the team. That was like, should have been like week 3. And I was like, I want to talk about this tomorrow.
Right.
You know, I was so excited about it. And so like, yeah, the faith, I try not, because I don't want to be like, you know how that guy is, that guy that just kind of annoys you with it, you know? And I don't want to come off like that. But also like sometimes people will come to me and ask me questions about things. And that's like kind of like That's typically where the first question is. Like, it's like, dude, have you ever even like thought about this problem? Have you ever prayed about this problem? Even if you're not a Christian, have you ever like sat and meditated about this problem? It's
Right.
like, so that's where I just get so much out of it, because I think for so long I was trying to control everything, control this outcome, control these goals, control this and that. And really, it's none of my damn business how any of this ends up in the first place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the second that I learned that, life got a lot easier and a lot more fun. And, you know, just,
And man,
it's a great place to look to as like a little foundational thing.
I love that. And I think that, I mean, just thinking and hearing that for the first time, it's like the closer you get to the fire, hotter,
The more uncomfortable you are, yeah.
everything. And then all of a sudden you look maybe in the mirror, say the mirror, and you're like, do you like what you see in the mirror?
Oh yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Because you see the silver, once you actually see yourself for what it is, that's when you can actually make a difference. Right?
I think, yeah, it's like this, but everyone's so like afraid of uncomfortableness too.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
it's tough too. Cause you think about this, I think about this with our kids, you know, cause you know, we work so hard to put our kids in like a better position than like maybe how we were raised or things that we had or didn't have. And it's like, how do you play that weird line between like giving them access and like completely not ruining them, you know? Because I grew up what we call broke adjacent. Okay. I call it was poor adjacent is what I used to call it. My mom was poor. My grandfather had cabbage, right? And so growing up, we would go hungry just until Ron would pay for food, right? Mm-hmm. You would go without those cool school clothes until Ron would pay. You would go without those things that you wanted in life. You wouldn't have anything until Ron would do it for you. So the problem with that was that it taught me at a young age that there's always more and there's always something around the corner, and it created a crazy amount of abundance in me naturally. And I think that's what brought me towards like more of like sales and leadership naturally, because you can kind of create your own wins and there's always so much to be had. And I was like, man, it sucked being raised like that at the time, but it ended up being all right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really glad that things shaped out the way they did.
Yeah, tell you a lot. I mean, you got to the point where you're like, man, I'm struggling, but then there was still like
there's something always there
for you.
Yeah, there's always something there.
Wow.
Yeah, but you had to like you had to really suffer through it all for a while until you'd get it. So
what would you say? You know, we're talking about what you do at 3BG with attitude and changing people's perspectives and all that. Mm. What are some of the strategies like that you use, like on a day-to-day basis? Do you let them come to you? Do you go to them? You know what I mean? Like, how do you build their confidence?
Yeah, dude, it's tough, man. It's tough because it's tough in a lot of different ways. The first thing is like, I have like the best leadership team like in the world, I think. And you want to like be able to teach them the things that I've learned over the last few years so that they can kind of be able to do some of this on their own, right? But those guys are like fighting the fight every day. So sometimes it's really tough to like pull them out of the weeds for a second and look at things in a different way. So that's a challenge in itself, mm-hmm. right? And you have to put in so much energy into being able to make that work for them, right? And they deserve it from you the most. Sometimes it's easy when you're in a leadership position to kind of let your managers dwindle away a little bit because you think they can handle it. It's kind of like, you know, you hurt the people you love the most type of thing. But you have to be really cognizant of the energy that you're giving to the management team first and foremost. And like, can you build them up to manage the way that you think is the most effective way to manage? So that's the first thing that's tough. And we have a few people on staff. All of them have done a phenomenal job. But like I have one, shout out Alyssa Rux. I'm going to give her a public shout out here. Rux has been amazing. She's very young. And she came into this business not having any idea that she had like the leadership qualities. And when I first met her, I was like, this is going to be my dog for a while right here, you know? And I got a bunch of those on staff. But she was kind of fun because she came from just like being a really good independent contributor and just being a rock star on her own right. And it was like, I learned so much about myself. And I learned so much about management just by taking her from being that independent contributor and like turning into like a really phenomenal leader. And I think she's managing like, I don't know, like 10 or so people now. And to get the feedback that I hear from her team about her, that's like the best feeling in the world. And that kind of like pays it forward a little bit. But also just like, you got to take the time. So it's so easy in management just to be like, this is how I do it this way, or kick rocks, right?
Right.
I don't know.
But everyone does it differently.
Yeah, for me, I enjoy all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I enjoy getting the weird phone calls of like why things are, why they're not hitting their numbers because of something that's going on at home. I like trying to help them through that. Some people don't, and that's where people get hung up in management, where we just pour so much into these kids.
Yeah, and I mean, you're never going to take the personal out of it. They're always going to come to work with something.
You have to just be cool with like, especially nowadays, millennials especially, we're the first generation to really bring home everything to work that's going on at home, I think. You got like our parents, especially Jake's, because his are 90s. They're in the 90s. No, amazing people, love the Tomlinsons. But like that generation worked because they had to. Interest rates were like 18%.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have a choice. Now you have a Gen Z person taking over a plant that makes $50 million of product every month, and a Gen Z's taking over that position. Things get too hard for them, they'll go live at home in 2 seconds. They don't care.
Yeah, it's true.
So like you have to completely change how you're managing, and every single person has to be managed different. And that's why it is so tiring and so many people just can't deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, what would you say you do for those people? Like you just talk with them? Do you just like kind of find a common ground, or?
Sometimes you don't have to say anything. So 99% of the time it's people just venting.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's an awesome video of this. It's about a husband and wife. And the husband is sitting on the couch with his wife, and his wife has a legitimate nail in her forehead. Like a nail sticking out of her forehead. And they make it look gross too.
Yeah.
The makeup and everything. Make it look disgusting. And she's talking to her husband, and she's like, oh my gosh, there's just such a pain right here. I can't figure it out. And it's just, I can't put sweaters on because they snag, and it's just really hard. And like the husband wants to quickly just like, hey, let's just take the nail out of your head. Like, obviously this is how you fix this problem. But what actually solves the problem is not just like trying to fix the issue. It's more just like sitting there and listening, Yeah. So like when that comes to management, if you're hiring good people, they're going to come in and they're going to have a problem, right? 99% of the time, I'm like, oh, okay. You got to really listen. You got to put the phone down, put the shit down. You got to really listen. And I'm listening. I said, okay. Well, what do you want to do? I want to do this thing. Okay. I'll support that.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it.
Right.
And then and it's funny because then they'll look back and be like, gosh, Shane really helped me out yesterday. It's like, I didn't do anything.
Yeah. I just asked the question.
I just asked the question, is this what do you want to do?
Well, yeah.
They
all ended up figuring it out themselves.
But yeah, like sometimes everyone wants to be so quick. That's one thing Chuck told me. I said, how do you solve problems when they happen? I asked Chuck this. And Chuck's so funny. He goes, thinks like for a real long time before he answers. He's like, a lot of times I don't. And I was like, okay, tell me more about that. And he's like, I can't tell you how many times I've seen people make bad decisions because they just make a knee-jerk reaction to something. He's like, sometimes I just don't. And I was like, damn, that's brilliant as hell.
Yeah, that's
So I kind of took a little piece of that too, and just kind of think about that video, and just over time, you just kind of learn that's like, if you're hiring the right people,
right, and you're letting them make the mistakes too. which
Yeah,
I
that's-
think is really cool.
You have to.
Because
You
then
have to.
that's the only way that a lot of these people are going to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, myself included. I learn from all of them.
You have to. Also, like what? Like selfishly, let's think about our time being spent, right? Like if you're not also learning from the people that you're around, like what a waste of 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours a week that you're spending
Right.
or whatever.
Right. That's a good point. Man, I'll tell you what, this has been great so far. How do you feel?
I feel great. I think it's funny Jake's sitting here. I still don't understand why he's here. He probably probably didn't have to use him. But
Probably not. But I was going to say, I mean, a lot of people coming into 3BG, or not, I don't know about like what the percentage is, but like myself, I had no experience with sales, the industry. So like talk a little bit about sales philosophy class and product engineering that you guys do every week to make sure that
yeah, it's crazy.
You got free sales training, right?
I graduated from 3BGU.
Basically. Yeah.
Well, okay, so first off, if you're going to come work for 3BG, one of the first things that you're supposed to be asked through that process is like, hey, do you really want to do this? You have to be here at 7:30 on Wednesdays, and you have to be here at 7 a.m. on Thursdays. Like, no questions asked. You have to be there. And that's because we run, it's a lot of people back in the day, if you were in our business, they used to tell you it took 10 years to get somebody on the road to be an effective salesperson. 10 years.
That's a
long time.
That's
man.
a long time.
That's a long time. Well, we don't have that type of time around here.
Right.
So Wednesday mornings we do product training. So we're teaching you about the products and the services that we're providing and just diving really deep into that. And then Thursday morning, 7 a.m., I still hold on to this myself, where we teach, some call it a sales meeting. I call it a sales class. We're talking about, more strategic, like questions you should be asking and reversing people and all that fun, like really like niche-y sales tactic stuff. But sometimes it's just like a philosophy thing too, just making sure that people understand the sales philosophy. Somebody asked me one time, they're like, well, what is the sales philosophy in a nutshell? I was like, all right, I got to think about that because I gave a really shitty answer the first time. And so I said, here's my philosophy. Step one is you have to have the ability to put yourself in another person's shoes. And I'm sure all of us have like friends or family that do not have that ability. So you got to have the ability to put yourself in another person's shoes. The next step to that is, do you have the skills and the ability to care enough to change their perception? Right? Because that's what all that is at the end of the day. And so those are the two things I try to focus on. And obviously it spiderwebs down to 4 million different little things that you have to learn. But at the end of the day, it's like, do you really give a shit?
Yeah.
All right, now you do. Okay, so you care. So how can we strategically get them to change their perception? Because there's a lot of things that people get in their own way a lot, and you just got to help them through that process sometimes.
Dude, yeah.
So,
And just like the culture you've created is that like people do I remember getting excited for Thursday morning classes, obviously just like waking up. You're like, oh, I have to wake up early. But once you're up and then you get there, you're excited.
Yeah.
And like everyone's joking around, having fun. And like going back to what you were asking, like, do you wait for them to come to you? Like, do you go to them, ask them how everything's going up? People will bring very personal things up in class because that's how comfortable they get.
Nice.
To like ask for help from Shane and everyone else.
That's like the hardest thing I think about business is building that culture.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yeah, people always ask me like, well, how do you build that type of culture? It's like, dude, I have no idea what I'm doing. Don't ask me how I do it. But like, I just know that like, if we're all like, I go back to football, honestly, it's like nothing gets more personal than like your quarterback throwing an interception and then you turn around and then get cold clock blocked by some gigantic linebacker and it's on video and it's front of 8,000 people in the stands. It's like, so to me, it's like, let's talk about these things. Yeah, they might be personal. And if you don't want to talk about it, then you don't have to talk about it. But like, let's figure out like what's stopping you from like really being the person that you want to be. Because there's something there. There's a reason why you're doing it. I always joke around. We have our VP of client success named Joel Grillo. Shout out Joel. This is a great example. I said, does anybody have like anything from like their childhood that their parents or friends or something that they put in your head that you still live with today.
Oh, wow.
And Joel was like, yeah, my mom used to tell me all the time that I'm bad at math. And so like to this day, like I'm like, if someone were to ask, I'm like, yeah, I'm really bad at math. And I was like, that's so funny. Like I've been working with you really close for years. Like you're really good at math.
Yeah. He's like an engineer.
Yeah. He's an engineer pretty much. So like all of a sudden you realize that like someone put that in your head and that's been like a self-belief for yourself this whole time. And it's like not even true. So like in the sales classes, like sometimes we're that deep, like breaking it down. My thought process is this: if you're going to spend X amount of hours with us your life with us, if you're trusting us enough to come work here and get a paycheck and do all that stuff, and you're going to wake up at 7 a.m., I got to bring the freaking heat to that meeting, right? So it's tough. Like the pressure's on for me to like really show up for those calls. And
I think the biggest thing about leadership too is like you can't show weakness either.
Yeah.
Because you have to be that strong leader.
You got to lead by example.
Every time you go in there, because that's what builds that culture too.
Yeah. I think, but also I agree, but also sometimes people get confused with like that has to be perfection.
Right. Good point.
You know?
Good point.
And it's not, I don't think it's perfection that it has to be. I think it might be like
present, like almost like you got to,
not truth, like being really honest.
Yeah.
I think it's honesty.
Yeah.
Like there's sometimes I have to just be like honest. It's like, yeah, I suck at doing this too, but this is also how I learned to deal with it. So why don't I show you guys how I dealt with it?
Yeah.
You know? It's like, so I think it's honesty, not necessarily perfection sometimes.
Right.
If you're perfect, pretty sweet. Congrats. That's awesome too. But I don't know.
I don't know if there's many people like that.
Yeah.
But so Jake and I were talking about something that you're kind of in on as well is this whole MRO, maintenance, repair, and operations and everything, right? And how you want to bring awareness to that.
Well,
how do you do that when it's like no one knows what MRO is?
I know. Yeah.
Because I love it. I mean, I think the same way. I'm like manufacturing, industrial, technology. It's things that people don't talk about because we're talking about
and it makes the world go around. It makes the world go around.
Yeah, I think it's I think it kind of goes back to like the person that's like sitting in that seat and like how it affects them. So at the end of the day, let's say you have like this huge plant and you're making flooring. I don't know. Well, there's somebody that's like in charge of production, right? And that production team has to get, X amount of millions of dollars worth of flooring out every month or whatever it is. I honestly don't care about like their shareholders. I honestly don't give a shit about their investors and all that stuff. I don't care about that. Like if someone brought up to me, like we screwed up and it's because something screwed up and now the shareholder, I don't care. But what I do care about is that dad, father of 5, that runs this production side of this plant, he has like his own goals and his own dreams. And it's like, man, if all he wants to do is buy a boat so that he can take his kids fishing, and to buy that boat, he needs money. And to get money, he has to hit production so he can get that bonus. Then you know what? Damn it, that's our goal. Let's figure out how can we get that production to the level that he can hit his goal.
Nice.
And if we're selling that, it's like the rest of the stuff should just be fine. Should be good.
Right.
But everyone gets like so caught up in it, especially in sales, because then what happens is that production guy has a purchasing team, and that purchasing team's trained to like not deal with salespeople. So then you have to like come up with all these little strategies to kind of like sneak around and get your foot in the door, and conversations you can have to kind of like jujitsu them into taking the next call. It's like, yeah, that sucks that we have to do that sometimes, but it is for the greater good. And if you truly have conviction that you're helping that person, you shouldn't have it's kind of like tricking your kids into eating the green beans somehow.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes you got to do it.
That was me early on at 3VG, to where I would constantly be like, oh, dude, I'm just annoying these people. And you just have to be like, you are helping them out. They need those parts. Go find their pain and solve it.
Right.
And I just,
they don't even know what the problem is sometimes.
Yeah.
Until you dig and dig.
Especially nowadays, because the guys are so young, man. All the old people, all the people that know anything in the industries are like dead and retired.
Yeah.
what was the, do you remember the stat? I remember when I first joined that it was like predicting how long until.
Yeah, it was like 80% of the knowledge was going to be gone in the next 5 years. They're either going to be dead or retired. And it's like, it might have came on a little bit faster than that.
Oh, man. We have machines go down all the time, and no one knows how to fix them.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Because they're just like, well, that guy retired, or that guy's not here anymore.
Yeah, it happens all the time. That's why we just call us. Just call us and ask us what's going on. We even if we don't know the answer, we have access to so many things. We're heavily reliant on data to like feed us the information. So it's like chances are we might have the answer at our fingertips. You just gotta ask. But then again, so many people are trained to like, don't deal with salespeople. That's it. Well, if you don't have the conviction that we're actually helping somebody, then you kind of end up where Jake was when he first came.
Yeah.
Right. Which is, I don't want to bother them. Yeah. It's like, you're not bothering them. You're going to help them. Call them.
Right. So you're building your own little AI. You got all this knowledge just coming into 3BG.
Yeah, we've been building that for a couple of years. Yeah.
And then now you got solutions. That's what one of my favorite things about work is finding solutions for people.
Yeah.
They'll call me and I can't do it, but I sure as heck say, let me figure it out.
Yeah. If you can create value for another person, usually money does actually grow on trees.
Yeah.
But you got to, that's, I'm like still addicted to that feeling of like someone being like, hey, I've tried X, I've tried Y, I've tried Z, and we can't figure it out. And it's like, when you've solved that, I don't know if there's a better feeling than that.
No,
like,
I remember one time when I first started out in my career, it was with wire harnesses. And there was this like terminal and this cable or something like that. And for some reason, they couldn't find it. They couldn't do anything with that. I spent my whole day finding that one piece. And then all of a sudden, like the last call, 5 o'clock, because I knew everyone was shutting down, they call me back. And I'm like, wait, you have it?
We'll drive to you right now.
It is the best feeling because you call so many people. You're like, I want to find the solution for this customer. And then all of a sudden you do. It's the best.
We have a couple customers. We have one customer out of Atlanta that, they're always running, everything they do is like custom on the job. And so they're always running around and just picking stuff up. And there's been multiple times where their owner, they'll send their private jet to go pick up a part and bring it back so they don't have to wait on the delivery of it, or they can't afford to let UPS screw it up.
Yeah. Priority is not enough.
Yeah. So I love that too. I'm still addicted to it to this day.
So today, we got a lot going on, community involvement and the business and family and everything. Now, I just thought of this like, well, theoretically, you go in and you walk in an elevator, and who would you want to see in that elevator first?
Does it need to be someone like more famous?
No, it can be anybody. And then the next part of it is you're going to give them an elevator pitch.
Okay, well, that changes it. Because I would initially say, some people don't know this. Like I only have an aunt and an uncle left in our family. Everyone else has passed. So like probably one of the people that have passed away would be typically who I would want to see on that elevator. Also, that would freak me out really bad to see that. Yeah. Honestly, I would probably say Anthony Bourdain.
Okay.
I read Kitchen Confidential years ago, and it was one of my favorite books. And just how he like looked at life and how he like just did his thing. There's like something super romantic to me about like how he went about life. I make my management team actually read Kitchen Confidential when you come on board, because I think that there's some really great underlying like leadership tones in that book. Plus, it's just a really good book to read and it's exciting. But I'd probably say, if it had to be like more of a famous person, I'd probably say Anthony Bourdain, just because I got to know him after he passed.
Yeah.
And there's like something missing there that I'd like to learn more about.
Right. So you get on that elevator, and what do you say?
Oh boy. I'd ask him if he ate any good has he ate any good seafood lately?
Yeah.
That's probably what
that
I'd
would be
ask him.
it. That'd be good. I love it. I got to read that book too.
Do you have to? And it'll make you never want to eat scallops again. It's really sad.
Ooh. I'm not sure I would want to anyways.
I'm a big scallops
Are you a
guy
scallops
until
guy?
I read that book and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, and he breaks down why he barely eats scallops. So I was like, okay. Well,
Hey, I'm a big foodie, so I'm interested.
dude, read it. You'll love it.
Yeah.
It's an amazing book. If you haven't read it, read Kitchen Confidential. It's one of my favorites.
Damn, I really like scallops though. I'll do it. Fine.
I thought you had to read it. You aren't you a 3BG guy? We gotta
No,
read
He's
it.
not a management team.
Okay.
No.
Just the intern.
Maybe someday.
Yeah.
If he gets his shit together someday. No, okay.
It was funny that you're just like, well, it's also just a really good book. Like that'd be awesome to just be like, oh yeah, I make him read the third Harry Potter book. It's just really good.
It's just really good. It's just one of my favorites. I actually haven't done any of the Harry Potter books or seen any of the movies, and everyone gets so mad at me about that. My wife and I took our daughter our oldest to that play. I forget what it's called. The
Harry Potter
Potter's-
World?
Yeah,
Disney
sure.
Disney something or
Harry Potter's World or
or
Park
whatever.
or whatever it's called. And I took a picture of my wife and I in front of like his castle or the school or something. I sound like an idiot, but I took a picture. I was like, me and my wife standing in front of some nerd school. And just like the comments on that were just so great. 'Cause
They're-
people were like so pissed at
Yeah,
me
probably
for
mad at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like some nerd school.
Yeah, like
do
come
you
on,
know?
man.
Yeah. I did get, it did miss me on a lot of things at that place. Walking through everything. I don't understand any of it.
Yeah.
So
So
but
what
it's funny you bring that up.
what would you say motivates Shane when he wakes up and he's like, is it the team? Is it just like, are there goals that you still want to get to? You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I got goals. Yeah, for sure. Probably just leaving everybody that I come in contact with like a little bit better than I found them is probably one. It reminds you that like not treat people like shit all the time, or if you do, it's because you're busting balls, and like just try to leave them a little bit better off, and then maybe they'll say something nice about you later on. Who knows? I think that's kind of it that kind of gets me motivated. Obviously, just like never to be in the position that I was when I was a kid, I think is like an underlying thing. So that's a big one probably for me.
Those are great answers.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
leave a little something for the family when I'm gone. Probably is another
A little
one.
legacy going.
A little legacy, but
Yeah.
I think
that.
all three of those kind of play a part in it.
Love that. Man, I'll tell you what, this is great. I know from the beginning, Jake and I, as we started this podcast, we're like, we gotta get Shane in here.
Yeah, hey, well,
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys inviting me. It's been fun. It's such a sick thing. You guys have done a tremendous job with it, and I mean, you guys even have sponsors now.
Yeah.
Who is this?
Sasquatch Tea.
Are they from here in town?
Titman family, Tom Titman, started with his co-founder, and man, this stuff's good. Like, it's legit. It's got loose leaf tea in it, so it's not like the bags that like are not
bags,
good for you.
dude. Don't use bags.
Don't use bags.
Don't use bags, you freaking
Yeah,
losers.
you actually get one of these.
Do you get stuff in your teeth with it?
No.
Okay,
No, you get one of these. You can pick out your flavor.
You don't
Some
look like
of
an
them
old
have-
Englishman, after you drink.
Do they
it.
have a flavor? Titman's gonna kill me for this. Do you have a flavor that's actually coffee?
Whoa.
It's a joke.
Whoa.
It's a joke.
Wow.
But I do love coffee. I like coffee though when it's poured from like an old lady with like a long cigarette. That's the best type of coffee in my opinion. But I'll try this out. I've never been a tea guy, but my wife.
You know what
is.
sounds really good? Coffee flavored tea.
It's gonna go a long way.
No, I'm sure it's bomb. It looks great. The packaging is awesome.
No, it is really good. But yeah, man, I just wanted to thank you for
Yeah, no
being
problem,
here,
man.
and
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's
Love
been
it.
really-
This has been fun. Hope this
insightful.
episode's okay.
It's been great.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Do you
man.
lose views when it's him on here instead of the other guy? Dan?
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's your first one, so yeah.
We don't have to look at the numbers or anything, but
Well, we'll see. We're playing golf on Thursday, and I'm really bummed out that he's on my team because he is not good. Not that I'm good, but I'd
Yeah.
rather play with somebody that's going to help me win. Not,
Yeah, it's weird. I didn't get any messages about this golf or anything.
It's trust me, I would message you. It's our buddies from Indy that invited us down. So
I'm just kidding.
yeah, it's going to be an interesting week here. a good way to start the 4th of July weekend
yeah.
off.
Yeah, I'm fearing for my safety for sure.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, the average weight, it's all ex-football players, so the average weight's like 250 pounds, and then little Jake comes in here, so.
He's going to outdrive. I'll drive him for him, you know.
I'll try.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, man. I really
thanks,
appreciate
Shane.
it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks, Shane.